Alright guys, so in this video we are going to be breaking down every single trade that we took in the last 10 days so that you guys can see exactly what we do on a daily basis, how consistent the strategy is, and if you guys just replicate it, you guys can make the same amount of profits as we do. Every single one of these trades we're called out to the signal room. If you guys are trading futures, join the futures room. If you guys are trading forex, join the forex room. Absolute bangers all around. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so now that we're on the charts, the first trade that we're going to go over is going to be USDJPY. USDJPY is a pair that we normally trade on a regular basis just because it has the dollar and it has the Japanese yen, which that means that it moves a lot and it moves very good, and it's not like GJ where it doesn't give you a lot of time to execute the positions. It does move a little bit slower than GJ, so for beginner traders this will be perfect for you guys. So on USDJPY, this is where everything started to fall into place for us to make the amount of money we made. First thing that you're going to want to do always is go up to the 4-hour time frame and then see how the 4-hour time frame is setting up here. So if you're noticing on the 4-hour time frame, one thing that I noticed when I first started looking at UJ was that I knew that we wanted to come back and fill in this gap over here. We started the week off with a big gap pushing to the upside here, and then price decides to start to give us a pullback. So I knew that that pullback was actually going to come down and tap into our gap fill right over here. And then what you can do is just draw a small zone going from that gap to this gap, and then notice how we are filling into that zone. Once we started to get rejections, that's when we can go down to the hourly time frame. On the hourly time frame, you start to see what? You start to see a no trade range. Now this is a small no trade range sitting right over here, right above these highs over here. And then you have your zone that you want to come up and eventually look for targets at all the way up here. So the whole point of the strategy is finding your levels. Notice how this level we do get a ton of reaction at this level, and we get a reaction here, almost a reaction there. Now it's not always going to be perfect, but as long as you're being consistent with finding these zones, you're going to find them on a regular basis. And then if I stretch this zone here to the left, you're noticing that we also have a ton of reactions here to the left. On the 30-minute time frame, this is when I start going down and start looking how I can possibly execute this position. Was that price came down and left a big strong rejection of this previous retest zone over here and over here. So when I got that retest zone starting to bounce at that retest zone, I knew that I should be looking for an execution. So all I did was wait for this big rejection wick and then was set buy stops above these highs. Now the reason why I set buy stops above these highs here is because this low was already created. So since this low was already created, I know that price should push up, and if this candle here closes bullish, my entry candle should be right above that previous high. And then guess what guys, once price started to come back into this range and really start to break these highs over here, that is when you guys can start to target your zones over here. So I actually took my profit at this level over here for about a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio, but this trade would have freaking ran for a 1-to-4 risk reward ratio. You guys could have caught 4%, you guys could have made 8% if you're risking 2% on my signals, and this is just what we do on a regular basis. So then we moved on to EURNZD. This is another pair that we like to call signals for, and it's absolutely amazing because once EURNZD picks a direction, it really goes and impulses to that direction. So this is another good pair that you guys can probably implement into your strategy. So let's hop in the chart so I can show you guys exactly what we saw and why we took this position. So on the daily time frame on EURNZD, you guys can clearly see that we were bullish over here, right? We had higher highs, higher lows, and higher highs. Lower high got disrespected over here, starting to get this switch of market structure to the upside. So I knew that we were looking for only higher highs. So all I did was start to draw up my ranges, which was right over here. This was a zone for me. And then we have our target zone, which would have been right over here. Lots of reactions at this level. Reaction, 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 reaction. Once we go down to the hourly time frame, we knew that we had this very strong level of support holding down over here. Was once we got that rejection, pretty much very similar to UJ, you get that rejection and then you build your small no trade range. Price started to move sideways in this scenario. So all you did was wait for that no trade range. You have buys above with closure and you have sells below with closure under here. This is something that you guys will see me doing regularly on my live stream, and then sells below with closure here. And then right there, you guys can easily start to look to take your buy positions. Why? Because you start to get confirmations on the 30-minute time frame that's showing you that price can easily go bullish. 30-minute confirmation, 30-minute entry candle, and now you execute your position and you start to look to target your highs up here. This is where I close 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio, which is not too bad, just coming up to retest those highs. If you guys would have held this trade, you guys could have caught a 1 to 6 risk to reward ratio. So that could be 12%, that could be 6% on your account. It's up to you guys on how much you guys are willing to risk on the signals that we call out for you guys. So absolutely amazing trade. This was just a bullish move. We did know that we had to go bullish. Price then has a big overreaction in the market. This is something I call an overreaction because price is just coming down, no sort of retracement, no nothing. So usually when you see these overreactions, you can possibly expect a pullback, at least to fill in half of this move here. So UNDEFATED, absolute banger. And then we moved on to gold. Gold is a pair that I always trade. It's a pair I'm always looking for positions on. It is extremely nice with our breakout strategy, and you guys can use it as well. It shouldn't be too hard for you guys to actually catch positions on it. As long as you're just waiting for the breakouts and waiting for confirmations, you guys should be fine. So we went to gold and we took a position on gold, which was our first position on gold for the week. This was a very simple trade. It was kind of moving a little bit choppy, which I didn't like to see that, but on the 4-hour time frame, when we go up to the 4-hour time frame here, you guys are going to see exactly why I took this position, because of this strong level of support that we were bouncing off of and respecting for quite a while. So all I did was wait for the 4-hour candle to come down into this range over here and give me a strong rejection to the downside. So now we're gonna go down to the 1-hour time frame. On the 1-hour time frame, you guys can clearly see this range right over here. I know that I normally say I don't trade the ranges, but you guys are gonna notice why I traded this range. On the 1-hour time frame, you start to get your push to the upside. You get a push here. I thought I actually missed this move right over here and waited for a pullback to come back to my zone or my point of interest, because I didn't take this breakout over here, so I needed to wait for a pullback. Remember, if I miss my trade over here, that doesn't mean I'm gonna go ahead and execute all the way up here. No, because my point of interest isn't up here. My point of interest is down over here in this area here. So all I did was wait for a pullback, waited for that pullback. 15-minute time frame was my entry time frame. So right over here, once we started to come down again over here, and then I actually executed my position right here. So I did see a little bit of drawdown, but then guess what? We understand that we have this whole zone over here that we like to respect. And dude, I was 100% confident in this trade. Absolutely amazing trade though. And then price decides just rip up. I was trying to hold it all the way over here. I did have runners on this position. I closed some of my runners right over here at a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward ratio, but I held a pretty big runner. So I would say that this was about a 1 to 1 win, because I really wanted it to come back up and test these highs, but unfortunately price didn't want to do that on this specific day. So we caught a 1 to 1 on this trade. Absolute banger. You guys probably could have caught a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward ratio if that's what you guys wanted, but overall still that's 3 for 3 on trades, bro. So we can move on to the next trade. Keep in mind, guys, most of these positions that we are calling for the signals are pending orders, so it gives everybody time to actually execute the positions so that you guys can have time and be able to actually win with us, rather than just us telling you buy now, and if you miss that trade, you're pretty much not gonna win with us. So a big thing that we have implemented in our signal room is making sure that you guys have pending orders set so that you guys don't miss any entry and have time to put your stop loss, TPs, entries, etc. So let's hop into USDJPY. So this was a pretty much a fake out breakout on USDJPY. This is a setup that I have taught in the past, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, that I used to use on a regular basis, and I still use this setup when it does present itself. I don't use it as often as I used to, or I don't really teach it as often as I used to, so I'm gonna break it down with detail here. So on the hourly time frame, I noticed that price had lots of wick rejections at this area over here. Then we started to come up over here and leave a lot of wick rejections, right? Showing me a lot of signs of weakness over here. So I did notice that, hey, maybe there's a potential that I can maybe catch a retracement of this bullish push. So then I went down to the 30-minute time frame, and on the 30-minute time frame, I just drew out this level over here. Okay, once I drew out that level over here, I went down to the 15-minute time frame. On the 15-minute time frame, I noticed price gave me confirmations for a breakout, but never gave me the entry candle. So remember, a big part of my strategy when I'm trading breakouts is you wait for the confirmation to close outside the range, and then you wait for the next candle to come up and break that previous high to then execute your breakout trade. For me personally, once I saw price failing to break that high and starting to engulf this previous 15-minute candle, I knew that this was a sales position. this is a position that I could definitely look for sells in. So I actually took this position right over here, took that position, put stop loss just right above that high. No need to put it so high above it, right? Because if you break this high over here, you're most likely just going to hit your stops. So there's really no point. You could just set your stop loss right over here and you should be fine. Just give it a little bit of room so that you can actually, let the trade breathe a bit if it does want to come up in the range and then come down. But absolute freaking banger trade, as you guys can see. So I actually closed my position at this level of support right here. So pretty much just a 1-on-1. I closed my full position, and the reason why I got out of my full position on this trade is because it was a counter trend trade. Remember, when you guys are trading counter trend trades, you don't want to hold for a long-term position because you do know that it's a short-term sell for the overall bullish. So make sure you guys are closing your positions when it is a counter trend trade, and then leave runners when you're with the trend. So that was it for USDJPY for the week. So let's go ahead and move on to the banger of the week. This was the banger of the week, like truly. So if you guys notice on XAUUSD, price starts to come down. This is a longer time frame position here. If you notice, price comes down and taps into this area over here, into that area. So I do know that we are respecting this area here. You get a overreaction in the market coming down over here. You get that support being formed right there, and then you start to get a bullish candle to come up. So, and this is when you want to start going down to the lower time frame. Price comes down, right? This is still a downtrend, downtrend, downtrend. But what happened over here? Price started to come up. This is still lower high because we never broke that previous high. Comes down, this forms a higher low because we never broke this previous low. Now right here, we break market structure to the upside. We break market structure to the upside right over here. Price pushes up, breaks this high right over here, and now comes back down. And what should you be expecting when price comes back down? For me personally, I was expecting a higher low to form and continue this small trend to the upside. So all I did was go down and wait for the 15-minute candle to come down into my buy zone, which my buy zone was right over here. Buy zone was right there. Stop loss right below here, and then I just waited for the position to hit my targets. Now the reason why I call this a banger of the week is because you had 3 different positions you guys could have taken, right? You guys could have easily taken this beautiful buy position coming up into this range, or you guys could have taken this beautiful pullback, which was the retest that we took, or you guys could have taken your buys above this range that we had formed when we were already in the range. That's not the only reason why it makes it the banger of the week, is because if you also notice, price freaking flew about 500 pips. 500 pips on gold. If you guys would have held that, you guys could have caught a 1-to-6 risk to reward ratio. But a lot of people, I'm sure, closed a little bit earlier than 500 pips, but still an absolute banger. So then we moved on to YM. On YM, it was a very nice little week here for us. This was a trade that I actually caught for you guys on my live stream. It was pretty much a simple no trade range setup right over here. We started to notice that price had this small range coming from this area to this area here, and then what did we get? We start to come down and break these lows over here, which is the gambler candle set up to the downside, put stop loss right above that 15-minute candle high, and then just started to look to target our next zone, which was right over here. So this was about a 1-on-1 for me. We did take that trade on live stream. You guys definitely saw it. So if you guys don't join the live streams, you can't catch these trades with me. It's just not the way it works. But these are free setups that I do give you guys, and I execute with you guys, so you guys have full confidence. Then we moved on to the signals. Signal room actually killed it with this beautiful 15-minute sell position right over here. Price has that no trade range, waiting for confirmations outside the range, execution outside the range, putting stops right above this candle high right here, and then just waiting for price to hit overall take profits. For me personally, I was waiting for this area over here to hit, and I actually closed my full position right here. I actually didn't even wait for this whole pullback, which would have hit me out at break even, but I did know that the overall market was extremely bullish, so I was just looking to take my profits and run. So there is ways to counter trend trade. You don't have to be scared of taking counter trend trades as long as you're doing it with confirmations and understand that it's a short-term move rather than the long-term move. But that was it, a 7-0 win streak, guys. This is something that we do on a regular basis, bro. I've been trading for the last 5 freaking years, and you guys have seen the growth. You guys have seen me win. You guys have seen me lose. You guys have seen me do everything, and I truly believe that you guys can do the same. Just leave a comment if you guys have any questions. Join the free Telegram for sure. I'll be dropping in some free signals in there, YouTube live streams, video analysis, but you get all the updates in the free Telegram. And if you guys do want more than the free Telegram, join the paid signal channel for 50% off right now. But I love you guys and I appreciate you guys. Just remember, I'm not special. You can do it too. Peace.